said get tighter on the plate. How do I adjust for the tripod to go up and down? Yeah, to tilt up and down. Side. Is it the larger one? Is that better? How tight should I go?
So we just get general following the action, not zooming in or out or anything.
Hold on, wait a minute. Repeat it how you leave it.
Understood.
Lay 8.
that mic you were talking about broadcasted, or is it just that you can hear us? Or just like hear us? Finding, like, you know, playing those cup games where, like, you put one ball in the cup and just mix them up on, like, with, like, a bunch of kids. Yeah. You're having fun with that. What's that? We're just bad at this. Oh, yeah. We're just bad at this game.
I made it different. You chose that.
Free cups. Where'd it go?
Oh, yeah, you did that one.
Are you able to follow it? Pretty well.
I've been matching the two up. It's easier to follow with just my eyes.
Just there and drinking lines a bit time. I can get famous for something.
Yes.
Sir?
Affirmative.
Next Friday. Is it our first football game? Okay. So maybe we're gonna have football soon. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It reminds me of a lot of what the AV does for the actual class things for the football games. We haven't been able to. I've definitely messaged him and let him know I'm here. He probably sees me. Yourself. Oh my goodness. Okay. Good coffee there.
What's up? Keep going. First place. Really, I think it's going to be right about running back.
Yeah, usually how it works. I mean, we even hear about like the same 15 people on the news like all the time. Like, come on. Like, when was the last time you heard some from like the congressmen of like, oh, like Idaho or something? Really?
Next week in the team segment, we'll have no live rushes on the result first with Pine Tree County team versus the Marshall defense. So there's 4 snaps with fair catch, and then we'll have the Marshall Pine team versus Pine Tree defense with 4 snaps. Then we'll have Pine Tree still go on after the 10 versus Marshall with 4 snaps, and followed by Marshall field goal team versus Pine Tree defense with 4 snaps. Ladies and gentlemen, also during this time, we have some new stands on both sides of the field. If you'd like to donate again, as part of our Day to Shine program, once again, this is the benevolence fund put forth by the Texas High School Coaches Association. And again, it's established by the association, board of directors to assist athletes and coaches experiencing hardships. Our Day to Shine has involved over 1,441 schools that have hosted an early field scrimmage like tonight. And today, our coaches have raised over $1 million for the fund. And paid out over $820,000 to athletes as well as coaches who have experienced hardship. This is a great fund to donate to. If you'd like to, we would appreciate it. The coaches and the athletes would appreciate it, not only here, but around the state. We'd like to donate and have some budgets coming around. And the donations would be greatly appreciated. You can also donate through Venmo. There's a QR code at the gate as you come in through the stadium. If you do want to donate through Venmo, all you need to do is put the date and Pine Tree versus Marshall on the Venmo.
Coming from that way, you gotta walk way other people. I ain't got no around here. I know damn well there ain't no damn deal. What up, man? What up, boy? I know damn well there ain't no damn deal. Easy. Boy, ooh wee. Boy, what you looking like, boy? What you looking? This motherfucker ain't like Theo. I had at the bar. I turned whatever he is now. I turned to. Well, he looked a good bird. So what is he now right now? What up, boy? What's good with you? You good? Damn Theo. Trying to be.
At Veribank, we celebrate businesses who are made in Texas. Whether you're ready to buy, grow, or improve cash flow, we have commercial banking experts that can get you the financing you need. If you want a community partner who's customer-focused, stop by your nearest Veribank.
Ahoy, hello, and welcome. You are with the Pine Tree Live crew. This is Michael Clements Jr. and Coach Angel Rocha, bringing you a special edition of the Veribank Pine Tree Live broadcast. We are here tonight. It's the Marshall Mavericks and your Pine Tree Pirates squaring off in a scrimmage game. There's already been some offensive plays, defensive plays from both teams, special teams. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go through a full 12-minute quarter. So, Coach, give us a breakdown about what's going to happen here.
So, the control portion just happened a while ago. 12 plays with the ones, 12 plays with the twos. And then they went a series of 10s, both with ones and twos, went through a kicking segment with no rush. And now we're to the live quarters. We'll actually play 2 quarters. One exactly how a clock management would go, and then another one that'll be just running clock, and it'll just be for training purposes, and everybody's getting trained up, especially the guys up here in the booth. But also the referees have about 2 crews on here that are getting trained up as well as going through pretty much a dress rehearsal on offense and defense for both teams.
So on the downside, we actually don't have the player numbers. So the numbers on the jerseys are not the actual numbers that the player will be wearing next week in the first game against Gilmer. So we won't be announcing any plays tonight like we typically do. We'll be able to maybe nail down a couple of the players as we are discussing them. But nonetheless, football is back, Coach.
Yeah, couldn't wait another week. Just decided to go ahead and try this out. Like I said, just dress rehearsal on all accounts. Very excited to see the Pine Tree Pirates back on the field, especially coming off of the great year that they had last year.
Yeah, Coach, that last season the Pirates went 10-2, ended in the second round of the playoffs in a heartbreaker. But it was a fun season, one of the best seasons in Pine Tree school history, going 10-2 and 2 rounds deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, and again, it's been since last year since we kind of went through it, as we see 4th down coming on. So if you're not past the 50, and I think it's actually inside the 20, the other team has to punt. So there is no going for it, especially here in this controlled live quarter segment of the scrimmage. So if they're not inside the 20, they basically have to punt it away. So those of you that are watching, and there is no rush. Again, just dress rehearsal, and it's going to be enough getting 11 guys to do what they're supposed to do on the kicking segments. So no rush, and the Pirates will take over exactly where they catch it from, since there is no return. So Good job with the return team getting the catch right there. But kind of like I was saying, I think it's been the best season since 1977, if I'm not mistaken, from last year's stats that we kind of went over last year in that game versus Stafford. And like you said, Mike, it was really fun. And as it was a fun season, it came to a bittersweet end, and I guess that's why I really couldn't wait to get back on the air and start broadcasting this new Pine Tree Pirate team that gets to try to rectify some of the wrongs that were done that night in that playoff game. Nothing to be ashamed of about the season that they had, but you always remember that last game, and these guys get a chance now to try to get that out of recent memory.
Yeah, Coach, it was a tough end of the season, but it was also tough to see the senior class. It was a wonderful class last year, and a lot of good players. But what that does, it creates new leadership opportunities for players this season. And so even though last year, maybe in the scrimmage, if we were calling it, we probably could have named more of the players, but just like at Media Day, Coach, it was a lot of new faces.
Oh, yeah, and definitely, that's kind of one of the first things I kind of looked at when I was looking at the roster. And this year, like you said, all those seniors that graduated, and it was such a great senior class that graduated. You can just name people off of that roster: Khalil, MJ Cates, Alex Morales, Seth McFarland. Just guys that, played for a while. You're talking about 2 and at some points 3-year starters that they all kept the same number, and they were all basically playing the same position for those 2-3 years. And so, we got to be real familiar with them and the way that they played. And, it was real easy to call those games. And now very excited about these new Pirates that are stepping up into this new era of Pirates and willing to make their own name this season.
Yeah, Coach, it says the Pirates have 2 starters on offense returning and 3 starters on defense returning. So a lot of new names and faces next Friday night.
And right here, as I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is I'm not even going to make any assumption who this might be with this catch, but what a screen pass and way to jumpstart the offense that had not had a lot of success in the 2 plays that they had just a while ago. But you're talking about brand new faces. I think the generals on both sides of the ball, and when I talk about the general on the offensive side, obviously talking about the quarterback, we got a new one in Colton Croft, who he's not, you don't easily mistake him for anybody. He towers above most guys on the offense. All of 6'3", 6'4", quarterback, and has done a really good job. And we saw him a little bit last year, getting prepared for what his role will be this year.
Yeah, we got to see Croft last season in his first start on varsity. He led the Pirates to a playoff win against Bridge City, and that was his only start of the season. So he's 1-0 as a starter. He actually came in against Palestine in the second. On the second drive of the game last year. There was a different starting quarterback in the last week. If you remember, MJ Cates went down in week 9, and then
Parker Johnson.
Yeah, Parker Johnson started week 10, and we got to see Croft a little bit in that game against Palestine in the rain. And the next week at Bridge City, Croft came in and looked great, led the Pirates to a victory, and then MJ Cates came back for the round 2 playoff game. But it's definitely, it would be a lot of fun to watch Croft this season. He looked good in that game against Bridge City. He's a different type of quarterback than MJ Cates, but I think he's still going to have some wheels on him. He's got a bigger body, but he can move the pocket well. We saw him last year. He has good pocket presence. He's probably going to make some of those mistakes as any quarterback does, learning the game. It gets a little bit faster than JV, but he definitely has the throwing. He has the ability to throw the ball far and fit it in whenever he has to.
Yeah, definitely so. And he's doing that against an offensive line that has some guys, coming and making their first starts, but some starters that are coming back from last year's team and guys that got some experience. Alex Lara is one of the names that kind of pops off to me on that offensive line. And so he's definitely going to be protected. He's definitely going to have some time to get those throws off. And, while we do, you'll miss guys like a, Lamarian, Lamarian Hunter that was in the backfield. You'll miss a guy like Jordan Taylor on the outside, and you can go on and on about the offensive weapons that the Pine Tree Pirates had last year. Now you get some guys that are going to try to make their own mark and the skill level on the outside. You got guys like Boston Johnson coming into the fray, and Dalen Montgomery, who's going to be going back at running back and linebacker, kind of like what he did last year. He just didn't have to do too much of it last year, just because of the fact that you did have a really good backfield that was led by Lamarian.
Well, as Coach, you said earlier too, we got to listen to. We called a lot of those names out for the senior class last year, and so what that means though is that there's a lot of younger guys most likely on this team. And so hopefully for the next few seasons, we're going to be calling out a number of these names as well.
Oh, definitely. And I think a lot of those names that we might call off, as Croft try to make that play right there. A lot of those names are going to be very, very well versed. I mean, you're talking about some names that are going to be repeated over and over on the offensive line, and then the defensive line gets a brand new look as well. Coming off of a couple of seasons where the Pirates are really well known for their defense. Let's not get it twisted in any way. Where we had a great team last year that went 10-2, a lot of that was spearheaded by how dominant the defense was last year, and very, very much in the same sense. You saw Marshall go 3 and out in this first series in the controlled portion. The defense is still a strong suit this year, and you get a brand new look at the defensive line that now is going to be led by David Lively. Some different looks at linebacker, and then we had the joy and the honor kind of sitting down with Coach Rockwell, who is one of the defensive backs coaches, and he got to brag about some of the new guys coming up, that are taking the place of a Khalil Decker and a Carl Turner, and you got guys like Boston Johnson, who again I mentioned on the offensive side, he'll be making a presence on the defensive side. He had a couple of picks last year on defense, and then very excited about what the defense as a whole can contribute. You do lose a name, kind of like you do in a Seth MacFarlane, a Dalen Evans the year before, as Croft right there, a free play, got the offensive line to jump off sides and threw it up. And like I said, like you said, he definitely has the arm for it.
Yeah, great pass by Croft there. That's a preseason PTTD, Coach.
Oh, sorry, I should have given you a chance to practice that. And I feel like we're gonna be saying a lot of that. I mean, a lot of people might say, well, when you only got 2 returners coming back onto the offensive side, I still think this is going to be a very high potent offense. It'll look a little different than it has in years before, but it'll definitely be a thing that we'll be very excited to be watching this season.
Well, and that's where it comes into play. So let's go back to 3 years ago. MJ Cates comes in halfway through, early in the season. It was against Kilgore when he came in and made his first start on varsity that night. I think, MJ Cates started against Kilgore. That made his first start, his sophomore year. That was also, I believe, Coach Bachman's first season as head coach.
Right.
And so you have a coach that was fresh, learning his way, and now you have Coach Bachman, who's been here at Pine Tree for, I think it was 8 years, and he is in his 4th year as head coach here. So you have a coach that's more seasoned, more experienced. So he's going to have probably a better idea of how he should bring along players. So, Coach, is that true? You've been a head soccer coach for a number of years now, Coach. So, is that true? Do you feel like there's things about your coaching ability that get better the more experience you get?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think I've said it a couple of times on the air as well, that my old coaching mentor. And one of my heroes, Coach Evans, always used to tell me, especially when he gave me my first head coaching job, he said, don't judge yourself in the first 3 years. Those are the years that you build and you learn about yourself as a head coach, and you learn about yourself. You learn about what kind of program you can build. And I think we saw that come into fruition last year with Coach Bachman in his 3rd year. You saw how well it is. You saw the identity that the Pirates had last year, and it led to a 10-2 season. And even with all the turnover, if you would like to call it that, the turnover that happened on the offensive and defensive side, and even a little bit in the coaching staff, he still has a program in place. He still has an identity in place to where, it's next man up mentality. And very excited about watching that kind of unfold this season right before our eyes here. Hopefully over the next 10 weeks.
Well, even just doing the interview with Coach Bachman this year at Media Day, it was just kind of like all of us kind of was like, hey, we've all been here before. And I think that's going to be an important factor as this young Pirate team is going to be looking for leadership from its coaches. It's going to be looking for leadership from the players that have been on varsity and made the playoffs last year. They're going to be looking for that. And what a great place to be able to get it than from your coaches. Now, Coach, let's talk about that. You said there was a little bit of turnover with the coaching staff this year. So where are we looking at new coaches for the Pirates?
You have it in a couple of key positions. You obviously in the defensive coordinator spot, Austin Blanco came from Gladewater, and he's now, taking over a defense that, over the last few years, under Coach Hampton, again, was a lot of what the Pine Tree Pirate identity was. I mean, they were going to, create havoc, play real good defense, bend but not break defense, as we would love to call it, over the last 3 years. And, he departed, and so Austin Blanco takes over, and you're seeing right now as they take the field, not a whole lot has changed. He mentioned to us during Media Day that, he didn't want to change a whole lot, little tweaks here and there, maybe changing the verbiage, but also very excited about what he could do with this defense as well. And he gave a lot of credit to Coach Hampton, which proves what kind of a class act that Coach Blanco is going to be. And, he fits the mode of what Coach Bachman brings into his program. But you have guys like him, Coach Spears, who we also interviewed during Media Day, going to help a lot with the passing game coordination, but also coming in as the new wide receiver coach, taking over for Coach Schoen, who, again, just like any coach that has really come through here, laid a really great foundation for another coach to come just take over and just next man up mentality. And he's, may not have, the Jordan Taylors and the Brandon Smiths and the Jay Wills of last year, but, he has some young guys that are really willing, ready to kind of, step up and be the next guy. And those are kind of the two biggest ones that came out last season, last spring, and then we had a couple of new hires in the summer. With Coach Newsom coming from New Diana, who is the new corners coach, Coach O'Brien, new running backs coach, and it's going to be a really good deal. Coach Copeland, who was here last year, is taking over the offensive line for Coach Bryant, who decided to go do something other than coach and teach. And it, while there is, that may sound like a lot when you look at the grand scope of things and the blueprint of what Pine Tree Pirate football has become, it's really not that much.
Well, you said it's next man up, and that's for players, that's for coaches, whatever it's going to be. I mean, it's next Friday night is inevitable. It's going to get here, Lord willing, right? So, all things go according to plan. Next Friday night, it's going to be on full display. What kind of system these coaches are going to bring in. I really enjoyed hearing the optimism from the players as we were talking to them during Media Day. About the new schemes that they're in. They're gelling with the coaches. It wasn't, as we were asking off camera and off mic, it seemed very positive. And I think that was a good sign, saying that, hey, there seems to already be a trust developing between these new coordinators and their players.
Oh, no doubt. And a lot of that kind of comes up with, Pine Tree has had some success. And I'm not just talking at the varsity level. I'm talking about in all divisions. I mean, a really, successful junior high program last year, and, those eighth graders had a really good season. Now they're freshmen, and they're looking to become some guys that, make some noise, and probably pretty soon, maybe not as freshmen, but they're looking towards it next year. And then you got some guys who, while they're young, they don't want to be the guys that, that are looked upon and saying, man, we did this and this and this, and then y'all came the next year and did that. Last week you and me got to go talk to Coach Lane as, he gets ready to head coached the New Diana this year, and he was here and he kind of laid a little bit of that blueprint that, we talk about, coaches leaving here, going somewhere else, but, leaving such a great foundation that it makes it easier for the next guy. And when I'm saying that, he talked about how his seniors were all, everybody was telling his seniors in that team, like, oh, don't worry, it's a rebuilding year, it's a rebuilding year. And he said, that's not the mentality that you need to have. Those seniors didn't work 3 years to get to their senior year, and for people to say, hey, it's a rebuilding year, don't worry about it if you don't do so well. These seniors are going to want to do the same thing that last year's seniors did. And so that's where a lot of that optimism comes from. I mean, at some point, one team had to have the 10-2 season that you saw last year, and these guys want to continue that. They want to be the guys that continue that legacy.
Pirates trying to hold on a 4th down as Marshall's offense has crept into the red zone. This Marshall team last year went 10-3, so they had a successful season themselves, playing 13 games. Good team. They have 5 starters returning on offense and defense, including quarterback Alton Henderson. So the Marshall Mavericks team comes in. They are returning some players. They have some talent on their roster. A good season last year for Marshall. Used to be a district rival of the Pirates up until last year, whenever Pirates entered the 4A District of Doom. But this is an old, really, it's a rivalry going back a long time for the Pirates. But in recent memory, district opponents.
Yeah, and there have been some pretty good victories for the Pirates, over Marshall and here in recent years too. So, and when they got out of the district, Coach Bachman was real quick to say, "Hey, I would still love to play y'all." And iron sharpens iron. You just said 10-2, 10-3 last year, and now these teams' second scrimmage, last dress rehearsal for both teams before they take on their first week opponents. And I know for the Pine Tree Pirates, week 1 is no slouch, as we will welcome in the Gilmer Buckeyes into Pirate Stadium next Friday. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Marshall opens up with Longview.
They open up with Tyler.
Tyler, okay.
Yeah, they open up with Tyler next week. And then Longview. So Tyler and Longview, first 2 games for Marshall.
Yeah, so when you're looking at this, you definitely don't want to scrimmage people that aren't going to give you a good look and aren't going to prepare you for what's coming, because obviously there's no real time to, let's see if this works. Marshall needs to know pretty fast what's going to work, especially with, the schedule that they have at the beginning of their season. And that's the same thing with Pine Tree,
So the scrimmage started 12 minutes. This is going to be a 2-quarter scrimmage. This is the first of the 2. This clock started at 12 minutes, and the Mavericks are trying to get into the end zone. It's first down and goal. Not going to happen. Pirates going to hold strong. It'll be second down. But 2:33 to go here in this first quarter. Next quarter will be a 12-minute straight running clock. We'll stick with you throughout the remainder of this, a preseason scrimmage rehearsal game for the Pirates. Good opportunity for all of us to be able to get ready to go before next week. That way we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, on our P's and Q's, doing all the things right that we need to be sure we bring you another season of the Verabank Pine Tree Live broadcast. Mavericks rolling out to the left. And the quarterback overthrows. Looks like his tight end. Pirates still looking good. It'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, so they are in the 20s.
Or was that 3rd down?
That was 3rd down.
Okay, so they got to change the. No, I guess that was 2nd down. I thought it was 3rd. See, that's why we're doing that this week, Coach.
Yeah, see, there's nobody going crazy right now, off either sideline, and especially us in the booths. I mean, we're still okay with it, and I think they're going to keep it at 3rd down.
So the Pirates are ahead 7-0. They've had 1 possession in this quarter. This is Marshall's 2nd possession. On their first possession, the Pirates held them to a 3-and-out. Quarterback scrambling left. He's going to back off.
And
he's going to throw a pick.
Yep.
Pirates looking to house this interception. And they're going to do it. You got to love this. Pirate Nation.
Hey, the bend but don't break is still there.
Yeah.
right there on the goal line, and a very disciplined defense right there. I mean, the quarterback rolled out and, looked like he was going to run for it, baited the defensive backs into it. Defensive backs didn't get out of coverage, stayed with their guys, stayed with their keys, and, 6 points to show for it.
So that's an interception return for a PTTD, Pine Tree touchdown. Pirates go up 13-0 in this first scrimmage, in the scrimmage first quarter, minute 40 to go. So Pirates feeling pretty good. As we were watching them in the scrimmage, you have to remember that it's basically like a practice, right? So the teams are working on different things. They've probably communicated with each other. Hey, we want you to blitz from this side a little extra. Hey, we want you to try this. Can you do this for us? So there's some of that going on back and forth. So to measure these players and to say everything, whether they played a good game or a bad game or a good scrimmage or bad scrimmage, I think it's hard to say because the coaches have different things being thrown at them and they're working on different things. So to judge the players by what you've seen tonight on what it's going to be next week, I think that's a tough comparison to make.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I hate, I guess I shouldn't say hate, but I really don't like, getting on Twitter and saying, seeing, so-and-so won last night's scrimmage. There is no winning in scrimmages. You can only lose in a scrimmage, and the only way you lose is if you do not gain anything from the scrimmage and if you don't get better. Just like I said, it's a glorified practice. Nobody's wearing numbers. You're trying out a couple of JV players that might be in-betweeners. So there's no winner of a scrimmage. If both teams get better, they both win. And, you get better for the next week where it actually does count. And then essentially you get better for that when it actually counts when you're in district and you're trying to make the playoffs. And then it counts the most when you're just trying to win and stay in.
It's weird seeing a kickoff with nobody on the field.
Well, if things keep going the way they are, that might be what we head to, especially with all the NFL changes that have been happening and stuff like that, with the new kickoff rules. And, soon enough, it might not even have kickoffs.
I think that's a good question for you, Coach. Do you think that could eventually creep down into the high school game?
Maybe. I mean, it's all about making the game safer. And, when you have guys running, as fast as they can, as hard as they can down the field to try to hit somebody else running the opposite way. I mean, it's a head-on-head collision in a lot of ways. I mean, you're talking about guys that with 20, 30-yard head start. So maybe, possibly, I think it's helped the NFL game, and I've actually I've enjoyed it this in the preseason in the NFL. So you're seeing a couple more house calls in those kickoffs, but I think a lot of it's to do with the fact of the matter that it's just almost like running the ball. It's you have an offensive line that are 5 yards away from each other and then just trying to pick a gap. And so I heard somebody say that a lot of NFL teams are just putting running backs back there.
Well, that makes sense. I think, including your Patriots, Henderson returned in his preseason debut for the Patriots, ran back a kickoff.
Yeah, definitely was happy to see him do it there. Not so much when he did it in Jerry World in Arlington when he was still on the Ohio State Buckeye team.
Yeah, that screen pass still makes me sick. Thanks, Coach.
Sorry. When I see Texas get on the field and start their new season, I'll let it go. But it's still pretty fresh on my mind.
Huge weekend next weekend. You have the Pirates and the Buckeyes on Friday night, and then you go to sleep and you wake up. It's Saturday morning. It's going to smell like football. It's still going to be hot outside, but it'll smell like football. And you're going to say, "Man, I get to watch Arch Manning's debut against Ohio State, number 1 and number 2, 11 o'clock." So, I mean, what a great, what'll that be, about a 15-hour, 16-hour period next week?
Yeah.
Cannot wait for that.
No, definitely. I mean, yes, I'm a soccer coach. I love being a head soccer coach. I love coaching the Mud Dogs. And, hopefully I get to do it for quite a bit longer and a while longer. Not quite a bit, just a while longer and all that. But, I really do love this time of year, man. It's really exciting. Football season gets started on all levels. And man, I can't wait for that 48 hours. That 48 hours is going to be awesome.
42.9 seconds to go in the first quarter. It was a Texas Semi-Trailers Marshall timeout. Feels like we're back in the booth calling a game. It's just a scrimmage. We're having fun tonight. This quarter, it's a 12-minute quarter. If you're just joining us, it was a 12-minute quarter that the Pirates and the Mavericks played. Pirates are up 14-0. They had an interception. They had a red zone stop, and it was a pick six return for a touchdown. And then they also had a nice drive, about a 70-yard drive, capped off by a nice pass from Croft. We have mentioned that the numbers on the players' jerseys tonight are not the jerseys they will be wearing next week. So we don't know names of players. We don't know exactly who is making the tackle, who's catching the ball, who's running the ball. So we're just hanging out with you tonight. We're bringing you this special edition of Pine Tree Live. This is a scrimmage game. 42 seconds to go in this first quarter. It's third down. There will be a second quarter. It'll be a 12-minute straight running clock, but they will play as if it's they're under game conditions. So Marshall has the ball right now, third down. Pirates may have an opportunity to get it back. They'll have 3 timeouts remaining. If they do, it's fourth down, so we'll see. Well, I guess they're going to get it back. We'll see if Marshall punts or tries to go for it. They're going to probably keep their offense on the field and just run a play.
Yeah, I thought, I guess Coach Bachman and the Marshall coach kind of talked, and I guess they don't have to pound it if it's fourth down, or I guess they do just have to cross the 50 to keep on going. So, and like I said, dress rehearsal for everything. Like say you don't win or lose anything, you can see what's a good fourth down play that you call on. Fourth and 17.
And Marshall is going to take another timeout. Talk a little bit about what they want to do. See if they've got a 20-yard play in the playbook.
Mike, just really excited, especially, even though you can't win or lose anything, you can definitely get some confidence from this. And each player that is down there, you can see that they're getting more and more confident, especially, the secondary, being able to get a pick six right there at the end, not let that go in. And right now have Marshall pretty backed up, and a lot of it has to do with not letting long passes be completed. And so a lot of success for this defense that is finding their new identity, but, really and truly an identity in the same that, it's a lot of the bend but not break defense, and the mentality that Coach Blanco was kind of talking about is like, I think he called it a black flag, defense, no surrender, no prisoners, no mercy kind of defense. And, I kind of like that. And, you can kind of see that this defense is kind of playing like that right now.
Yeah, they move and they swarm to the ball. They've been fast as Marshall has as the scrimmage has went on. I feel like the defense has only gotten better. Whenever we were first here watching some of those first plays back and forth, there were a few holes in the defense, but it seems like they've tightened those up. And, I mean, we've almost went through a scoreless quarter against a 5A team.
Yeah, and, that's I laugh when people, being on the field during those scrimmages and being able to move players, talk to players, tell players, yeah, that's all cute and nice and stuff, but to get anything out of that other than a glorified practice is, nothing else, because of the fact of the matter that, now these players are out there by themselves, and now you get to see what they actually know and how it'll be next Friday. So this is more of a test than that controlled portion was, as Croft's first pass in this series is incomplete.
So the Pirates have 24 seconds on the game clock, up 14-0 in this first quarter. They have 3 timeouts remaining. I'm not sure if they're going to treat it as if this is a half or a quarter. I don't know if they'll just take the ball back here and they'll just start with 12 minutes on the clock and they'll just keep running it like it is, or if they're going to reset like they would after a half and kick off.
Yeah, kind of just depends on how the coaches are feeling, and a lot of times, especially in this last scrimmage, some of these coaches will be like, hey, I've seen what I've needed to see, and they'll call it good just because of the fact of the matter. Like, there's not a whole lot more reason other than seeing what you need to see, get what you need to get, and then, get home safely and start preparing for your real opponent in the next week, as we see Coach Bachman just, run the ball and, looks to get this going into the running clock portion of the game.
So Pirates looking good in that opening quarter of this scrimmage. 14-0 is the score as we will begin the 12-minute straight clock portion of this scrimmage. Momentarily, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you shortly for the second half. 97% of trucking companies have less than 20 trucks. At Texas Semi-Trailers, we understand the challenges small business truckers face. We offer trailer leasing options on flatbed, step deck, and lowboy trailers. In addition to leasing, we have a service and alignment center located in White Oak. To set up a service appointment, call 903-984-5470 or visit TexasSemiTrailers.com.
Capture the world from new heights with M6 Drones and Media. We are your one-stop shop for all things media, offering top-notch aerial photography and videography services that will elevate your content to the next level. Whether it's capturing breathtaking landscapes, covering events with our expert event photography, or even live broadcasting, we've got you covered. With our state-of-the-art equipment and skilled team, your vision will come to life like never before. Let us take your storytelling to new heights.
April has been very, very helpful in, number one, educating us in social media. She developed our website for us. For so many of us, that's just such a big monster. We know it's very important, and it's getting to be more and more important every day. And a lot of us don't know how to do that, and April made it so easy.
Well, she's done an incredible job of helping us with our Facebook. We need help with social media in general, you know, especially folks that are not used to doing it all the time like me. And so she's been incredibly flexible and helpful and provided us a lot of information, showed us the how-tos and how not to make it work for us.
We just got done making brochures, and she did a fantastic job. And I'm kind of controlling just because I like things a certain way, and I barely helped at all, and the brochures they're amazing. She did great. I can't wait to put them around town. If you want someone who knows what they're doing, who can show you results, not just do it for you, but also get the results that you're looking for. If you want more clients, if you want to build your business brand, she's definitely the person to call.
April and her team has helped us grow our profits by 60% because we had to fill in the gaps. We didn't have people that could work 24 hours a day. So by her creating chat bots and things of that sort, that allow for us to be able to scale and go to another level. If you're ever thinking about getting someone who can take your marketing to the next level, please reach out to April.
She's very, very nice. She's very flexible, understanding of those that are very limited in their ability to work with social media. And so she really helps and takes you at whatever your level that you're at and helps you come up to the level you need to be. So we've enjoyed working with her, and we appreciate her very much.
I would say that if you don't call on April to help you with your marketing, you're going to be short.
Ahoy, and welcome back to the second half of this scrimmage, where the Pirates are going to start at their own 25-yard line. Croft in at quarterback. That's pretty much the only player that we know.
And a lot of that, again, is just because he's very distinguishable. I mean, you don't have a lot of 6'4", 6'5" quarterbacks.
So this Pirate, this is going to be a 12-minute straight running clock. It won't stop for incomplete passes. I don't even know if you can call timeouts during this. It shows timeouts on the scoreboard, but I don't even know if they have them. And we're already at 11:25.
So I think timeouts will only go in favor of play clock. So you can't get a delay of game penalty.
Okay.
So I think that's the only way the timeouts work.
Pirates looked pretty good in their opening possession of this scrimmage. Taking it down 70 yards, capped off by, I think it was like a 14-yard pass from Croft.
Yeah, you're right, because he had to do it twice. He did it once, and they called it dead because they said that they had blown the play dead because he had scored on that first pass on the fade on the edge, and then he did it again and completed the pass right on the next play for the touchdown.
And then on the second possession for the Mavericks, they drove down to the Pirate. They were within the 5-yard line, and on 4th and goal, on 3rd down and goal, the quarterback rolled to the right and then switched field and went all the way back to the left side, where he drew some of the defenders up, and he tried to loft a pass over their heads, but did not throw it very well and threw it right to one of the Pirate defenders, and he returned it for a 95-yard pick six. And that's what got our score to 14-0. Mavericks got the ball back and turned it over once again, and then the Pirates have it. And then they started this half with it. So at the 9:55 mark in this second quarter of the scrimmage, the second and final quarter of the scrimmage.
Yep, as you saw it right there, had a 3rd down situation. Croft managed to complete the pass here to the near sideline, and it wasn't just, a dump pass. He had to pick up a lot of yardage, and, he has a deep arm, but it's a deep arm in the sense that he also has some touch with it, as the receiver was coming back to the sideline, and he put it right there on the money, got the first down, and, they keep on. The Pine Tree keeps possession, keeps the offensive possession going.
2nd down and 10. Croft swings it out to the left. It's his receiver. He'll pick up a nice gain of 7 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 3 as the Pirates cross midfield. 9 minutes to go. Coach, whenever you go into a scrimmage game, as a coach, what are you typically looking for?
Well, first and foremost, and I think every coach, no matter the sport or, whatever level, will say is, you're looking to get out healthy, number one. That's the first and foremost thing. But really and truly, just what works. You definitely don't want to show your hand too much. You are going to exchange this film to the people that you're going to be playing against next week, and then you also have some guys who will be in the stands, trying to see what you're going to look like this season, and so they'll be trying to get as much of a upper hand on you. And so as we get to our first time out, and I guess they will stop the clock, and it stops at 8:17. You're just looking to see what you can get, and at this point in the scrimmage, you're trying to let your ones get some more reps and some more good reps, but you're also looking to make sure maybe that JV player that you've been looking at and has been having a couple of good days in practice, maybe he can give you a play or two. And, when I'm coaching in the scrimmage, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm not really looking at the score or time or anything. I'm just trying to see, what else can I do and who else can help me as we go deeper and deeper in the season, because I think every coach looks at it that way. You're not coaching for next week, you're coaching for the postseason and who can help you and who's going to be there.
Coach, as far as discovering what your players are able to do, but then also not showing too much, how do you balance that as a coach?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if there is a real great way. Obviously you're not going to do any, special plays, and, right here, you're at midfield, and maybe this would be 4-down territory for Coach Bachman in an actual game. But, what a perfect opportunity for the new punter, Martin Medrano, to get out there and, not see a live rush, but, hey, this will be his first experience out here, in front of a kind of a bigger crowd. And, he's going to be taking over for a guy in Alex Morales, who was an outstanding punter the last 2 years. And so he gets a chance. But how do you not tip your hand? You just kind of try to keep everything vanilla. I mean, everything that you want to do is really, talked about. Can you run? Is your run game good? Is your pass protection good? Other than that, try not to do too much. You're not going to scheme each other. And you're just really and truly just making sure that you're ready for Gilmer next week.
So the Pirates drive the ball 27 yards, and on 4th down, punt it to the Mavericks. So we'll have 7.5 minutes to go in this second quarter of the scrimmage. It is they explained it. They said it was going to be a straight running clock, but it seems like it is stopping at the change of possessions, and both teams have some timeouts. So it's closer to a natural quarter than just a straight running clock. Pirates 14-0. They've been able to hold the Mavericks on 3 possessions. This is the 4th time that the Mavericks have had the ball. Marshall returning 5 starters on offense and 5 starters on defense from a 10-3 team last season. So Marshall had some success. Pass complete there. Pirates trying to get the receiver down. They'll push him out of bounds. It'll be a gain of 12 yards, 1st down for Marshall.
And right there, that'll be the kind of stuff that, Coach Blanco will be looking at, especially with him, making sure that, even late in this game, yes, you've played quite a bit, especially if you're the ones you've done, maybe 22 plays maybe in the controlled portion of the scrimmage, and then, 2 live quarters, a break here and there. It's still pretty hot outside, even though that the sun is down. And you don't want to get lazy as the game progresses. You want to still keep to your fundamentals. We heard him talk a lot about the fundamentals when we were talking to him in media day, and so you definitely want to see that as we get to the closing minutes of this scrimmage.
And a quick handoff. Pirates pick it up, but not before the Mavericks gain 7 yards. So, Coach, so far tonight, it does look like the team has been gelling. I mean, we already mentioned it, 2 returning starters on this defense for the Pirates. So an uphill battle, definitely, for them to start the season. But as they get their feet under them, that's why you play non-district games. And scrimmages look like, just like this, to figure out where you're at with your players. Handoff left side. Pirates trying to get a tackle. A good second effort from the Marshall running back will pick up the 1st down.
That's a good pickup for Marshall, and this is a good, test for this Pine Tree Pirate defense. And, you got guys, that are trying to make a name for themselves, prove to coach that, hey, I am the next man up. I am the next guy that you can have on me. I really liked how the defensive line right there was flowing from one side to the other, straight down the line, and really did have them for no gain and then just let it kind of slip. And that'll be things that they talk about in film session tomorrow.
5 minutes to go. Marshall's quarterback looking to make something happen, but he is going to fall before he can get out of the pocket too far. He will pick up a gain of 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down.
We talk about a dress rehearsal for everybody. I mean, the business, organization that is Friday Night Lights. I mean, there's a lot of people that are getting trained up, the clock workers, the Jumbotron workers, and even the coaches, making sure the technology works, headsets work. There's a lot of stuff that goes into Friday nights, and there's a reason why scrimmages are looked upon the way that they are.
Well, what a good opportunity for these kids to get out under the lights before next Friday. Pine Tree kicks it off at midnight, though, right, Coach?
Actually, this season they did not.
They did not.
They kind of went away from the Midnight Madness kind of deal and just went with the whole traditional, start on 2-a-days, which, it really didn't even seem like it. I mean, just because of the fact of the matter that, teachers were basically back in service, and so it didn't really have that 2-a-day feel. And I guess the more UIL football kind of gets going and stuff, it just you had some schools that, like New Diana, that were already back in school when two-a-day started. So it's just a weird kind of deal, especially with all the different things that schools can do now with their schedules.
And the Pirates almost able to pick that all off.
I really like the secondary. I mean, we're talking about a preview of what is to come this season. I shouldn't say next season. This season. The secondary is really good, and a lot of it has to do with the pressure that front line is doing. But the secondary looks really good, and losing guys like Carl Turner and Khalil Deckard, you would hope that the next guys can step up and fill those shoes. And tonight they have done really well. No real big deep passes, no broken coverages, and they've looked really good.
Yeah, Coach, experience was something that the Pirates were not short on last year in the secondary. We've been calling a lot of those names for many years. So to have turnover in one of your, that's really you're really susceptible in that at that position, Coach, in that secondary. And so it has been good to see tonight. Even earlier in the broadcast before we went on, as we were just watching them go back and forth, the secondary was looking pretty good at that point too. Coach, if you're looking at this defense, there were a lot of good players there. Instead of just saying where you could have holes or where could things be better or where could they improve, what do you think is like what kind of focus do you think this staff has taken with developing these younger guys on defense?
Just really kind of knowing where everybody goes, just being real disciplined when it comes to that, and be vertically aligned. These kids, they play organized football. They put on a gold PT on their helmet, as early as 7th grade, and from there they start learning the vocabulary that Coach Bachman wants them to learn, because in 2 short years they'll be in high school, and maybe a year after that they'll be on varsity. So being vertically aligned, being disciplined, knowing the verbiage that goes with everything, knowing how to run a true counter, knowing how to lead block, and if I stop giving the coach's answer as far as what the focus would be on, I think overall the focus would be to develop a tough kid that no matter what, no matter who they're going against, no matter who they're playing or what they're playing, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, whatever, is truly developing a tough kid mentality that can just go out there, line up, 11v11 in football or 5v5 in basketball. It's just developing that true tough kid, and I think you saw a little bit of that last year. 10 out of the 13 sports that Pine Tree has, all with all made the postseason. 2 of them at the state level, multiple at the regional level, and then some I think 3 at the bi-district level. I mean, that's saying a lot, and it says a lot about the culture that is going on at Pine Tree.
So as we are in under a minute to go, Croft takes the snap. Pirates are going to try to pick up this first down, and they will. Pass complete out to the 44-yard line. And let's see if it moves the chains. They're going to mark it. They're going to move the chains. So it's first down, 35 seconds to go, and we may not see another play. Croft's coming back in. Maybe they'll try to run one more before the clock runs out. Coach, all in all, I think the Pirates looked good tonight. It was nice to get here in the booth, be able to put the headset back on, get reacquainted with Pirate Nation. There's a run left side up the middle, goes for about a yard, and that will do it here at Pirate Stadium. Coach, any final thoughts?
Great job from this team. The first scrimmage at home, last week they were at center, traveled well, did well, from what we heard. And then to come out, some of these guys' first time under the Friday night lights here at Pirate Stadium, and they did well. They put on a great show, very, very well disciplined in the controlled portion. And then, as the scoreboard shows, very well done in the live quarters. And can't brag enough about this coaching staff, not just, the guys that, have been here, and established their coaching legacy here for the amount of years that they've been here, like Coach Ellis, Coach Bachman, Coach Rock, Coach Dinkins, with the athletic training staff who, have done a great job of making sure our guys are well hydrated. And, I didn't see anybody cramp up tonight. That speaks again to the preparedness in the Pirates and completely as an organization. But what a display, and I'm very excited. Sometimes you get out of scrimmages and you're like, well, I'm not sure how this season will go. And now, after tonight, I'm pretty excited. That's a good Marshall team. Coming off a 10-3 season, like you said earlier in the broadcast, and they're a good team. Coach Bachman doesn't schedule anybody that to just bolster his ego, bolster the ego of the players. He wants them to have a real taste of where they are, where they stand, and even though there's still a lot of work to do, I think there's a lot of optimism to be had for what is to come. So very excited about next Friday. Can't come fast enough, and looking forward to it.
Coach, let me ask you one more question before we get out of here.
Okay.
Between now and next Friday, what is on your mind? I mean, 2 days are over. Preseason football is over at this point. You're pretty much in week one.
It's the worst time for a coach. I'll tell you that much. I think the only thing that's worse than this is homecoming week when there's so many distractions. But now, until then, you're just hoping that, everything goes well in practice, kids stay healthy, kids do what they're supposed to do at school, and it's a lot to have on your mind leading into the next game, into the first game. And it's even worse now because this is Thursday night, this is not Friday night, so there's an extra day to prepare, but there's an extra day to wait now for the next game. So if you're a coach, this is some of the worst time. If you're a player, man, you're ready, you're wanting it to be Friday night, and you're excited about what you can do and what you're going to do, and just being out there with your buddies. I mean, really and truly, they'll remember this from time to come. So everything but football, I guess, until those lights come on next Friday here at Pirate Stadium against Gilmer. You're really just thinking about it and hoping for it. It's almost like waiting for Christmas, and you get to do that week in, week out.
Well, it did feel like Christmas last night, knowing we were going to go live here during the preseason game. Coach, I had a lot of fun with you tonight. Awesome job, Larry Mahan, getting us set up. And also the rest of our crew here tonight working the cameras. It was a great time at Pirate Stadium. We hope you enjoyed the special edition of preseason football here on Pine Tree Live, bringing you the scrimmage between the Marshall Mavericks and the Pine Tree Pirates, where the Pirates were able to prevail in 2 quarters, 14-0. So good job for the Pirates tonight. Next week, 7:30, the Pirates and the Gilmer Buckeyes will be playing in week 1 of the high school football season 2025. And before we go, or before we start next week, you can probably look around 7:15, 7:20. We'll be going live next week. We'll probably have some commentary before the game, and we'll get excited to watch a great season over between the Pirates and the Gilmer Buckeyes. So Pirate Nation, we'll see you next Friday here at Pirate Stadium. Ahoy and go Pirates.